We've got a lot of exciting updates coming your way today, from the latest community events to important security alerts and opportunities to get involved. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting into the world of open source, there's plenty here to keep you in the loop. So let's get right into it. And remember, all the details are in the show notes if you need them. The Brisbane Drupal 11 Release Party. Alright, time to dive into the good stuff. Big news for all you community event lovers. Mark your calendars because the Drupal 11 Brisbane Release Party is happening on Tuesday, September 17th, 2024 at the Brisbane Square Library. This is an in-person event, but don't worry if you can't make it, you can also tune in via video, so no excuses for missing on the fun. Things kick off at 3:30 PM with a documentation contribution sprint and presentations followed by a social gathering from 5 till 7 PM. It's the perfect chance to celebrate Drupal 11's release and connect with your fellow Drupalers, you know, our ever-growing family of technology lovers. They're also looking for topics and presenters. If you've got ideas on the new Drupal release cycles, the recipes API, PHP 8.3 features, or theming changes, now's the time to step up and show off what you've got. Other topics include updates to single directory components, Symfony 7, and Drupal 11 tutorials. A huge shout out to Tomato Elephant Studio, a Brisbane-based consultancy focusing on Drupal development, automation, and integrations. A big thanks to them for sponsoring the event. Though we still don't know what tomatoes and elephants have in common, they're making this party happen, so be sure to say hello. And a quick heads up, they're no longer using meetup.com for this event, so check the new ways to stay in the loop. And if you've got ideas for future presentations or want to be a member, just reach out. More details are in the show notes. Consider it your cheat sheet. We'll keep you posted on all the updates. GovCMS DSP extensions, no interruptions, just extensions. We're diving into the latest on GovCMS Drupal Services Panel, or DSP for short. So here's the deal. The DSP was originally set to expire on September 2024. For those unfamiliar, the DSP is a way for government agencies to get Drupal services without jumping through a ton of procurement hoops. So basically, it just makes the whole process much smoother. I reached out to the GovCMS team, and here's the scoop. The panel is being extended. That's right, the Department of Finance has already asked all panel members to re-sign what's called a head agreement. It means the panel keeps going. Same companies, same services, no disruptions. Just smooth sailing for all the government agencies relying on GovCMS. Nice and simple, right? So when a government agency needs a specific Drupal service, they don't have to go and renegotiate everything from scratch. They just go through this existing agreement. Now, there's a GovCMS event coming up soon on September 26th. It's called Functionality. This event will focus on something called Single Sign-On, or SSO for short. For those unfamiliar, SSO is a way for users to log into multiple related websites using one set of login credentials. And then on the 13th of November, GovCMS's Mega Meetup is happening, and it's a huge event where we're likely to get even more updates on the future of GovCMS. More on that later, so stay tuned. If you've got questions or thoughts, drop them in the comments. Now stick around because we've got even more exciting Drupal news coming right up. Drupal trials evolve. WebAssembly versus Drupal Forge. What's the best fit for you? Alright, now we're diving into some exciting developments in Drupal trials, and whether you're all about speed or flexibility, these tools have got you covered. Let's start with Drupal Forge. It's a free tool designed to help developers quickly create trial Drupal sites. You can have a site up in 5 to 10 minutes ready to experiment with for up to 6 hours. After that, the site gets paused. But if you add the cloud dev environment, you can extend the trial and even collaborate with other developers using the browser-based code editor. That's pretty slick, right? So, who's footing the bill for all this? That would be DevPanel. They're providing the cloud infrastructure and covering all the costs for these trial sites, at least for now. Eventually, the idea is that the product owners might pick up these costs, but for now, it's all community driven. That's the beauty of the Drupal community. Always evolving, always giving back. What makes Drupal Forge stand out is that it's vendor neutral. Developers can easily migrate their sites from a hosting provider like DigitalOcean or AWS Lightsail, giving you plenty of flexibility without being locked into one option. Now let's talk about WebAssembly. This tech lets you run Drupal trials right in your browser without an external server. It's fast, it's cheap, but it's not perfect. WebAssembly trials aren't persistent, which means you can't save changes and they don't allow for module installation because there's no composer binary available. But hey, for a quick test, it's great. The Starshot Initiative is working on ways to smooth out transitions from WebAssembly trials to live servers. There are some challenges, but it's all part of Drupal's constant evolution. You might run into the occasional 404 error, but that's just a sign of the development in progress. For example, some users have run into 404 errors when trying to launch these WebAssembly versions, which is linked to ongoing development efforts. So whether you're on Team Drupal Forge for flexibility or Team WebAssembly for quick setups, both tools have something to offer. Keep an eye out on both as they continue to evolve. Starshot Initiative, new tracks, new leads, and further opportunities. Speaking of innovation, let's talk about the Starshot Initiative, now rebranded as DrupalCMS. If you haven't heard, this project is all about building the new default download of Drupal designed to create a fantastic user experience right out of the box. With DrupalCMS, site builders can easily create and extend sites even if they're brand new to Drupal. The system uses pre-packaged recipes to make things simple, and everything can be done through your browser. It's the next step in Drupal's evolution, making it even more accessible without losing the flexibility that we all love. Hey, but don't worry, Drupal Core isn't going anywhere. DrupalCMS builds on the top of Core, adding user-friendly elements while keeping Core as the customizable framework for developers. Dries Buytaert, the project lead, announced that an initial version of DrupalCMS will be available by the end of 2024. He shared this news back at DrupalCon Portland, and things have been moving fast since then. Tracks within Starshot are led by experienced leaders who are guiding the evolution of these features. There are a few tracks to cover, so let's get into it. Lawrence Van Dam from Dropsolid is leading the blog recipe track, simplifying content publishing with built-in blogging tools. But wait, there's more. On the privacy track, Jürgen Haas from Lake Drops is making sure Drupal meets evolving privacy standards like GDPR compliance. And we're not done yet. The dashboard track is led by Christian Lopez Espinola and Matthew Tilt from Lullabot. They're creating a post-installation dashboard to guide users with helpful insights and next steps. Meanwhile, over on the SEO track, Jim Birch from Canopy and John Doyle from Digital Polygon are working on optimizing sites from the get-go with the site-wide SEO recipe. This is quite the list, right? But hang on, we're still going. Jamie Abrahams from Freely Give is exploring AI-driven tools to simplify complex tasks. Tony Barker from Anatech is focused on improving media management. And Buddy Sonia from Mumbai Internet is leading advanced search, ensuring that users can quickly find the content that they need. Okay, so we're almost there now. In other areas, Gareth Alexander from Zucha is improving accessibility tools. Dariza Espinac from Evolving Web is working on the analytics track to give marketers deeper insights into their data. And for those of you building multilingual websites, Pavlos Daniel from Acquia is making multilingual content easier to manage. Now, there are still some tracks that need leads, like contact form, Starshot documentation, and content publishing workflows. These are key areas with huge potential. So if you're interested, now's the perfect time to get involved. The Starshot Initiative is expanding and more tracks will be created as the project evolves. So if you're excited about Drupal's evolution, and trust me, you should be, there's no better time to get involved. The show notes have more info on how to jump in. Dropsolid security announcement, Drupal 7 extended support. In our last update, we mentioned that Tag 1 Consulting had joined the roster of providers for the Drupal 7 Extended Security Support Program. Well, the Drupal Association has now announced Dropsolid as the latest partner to offer this crucial support. This ensures that Drupal 7 sites remain secure beyond the January 2025 end-of-life date. This is big because with Drupal 7 reaching their end-of-life soon, many organizations still need extended support while they migrate to newer versions of Drupal. Now, if you can't upgrade before the deadlines, don't panic. The extended security support partners, including Dropsolid, are here to help keep your Drupal 7 site secure and compliant well beyond that date. Dropsolid has a strong track record in the Drupal community and are one of the only European companies selected for this program. They'll be providing enterprise-level support with access to specialist developers, ensuring that your site stays up and running without any hiccups. Tim Doyle, CEO of the Drupal Association, praised Dropsolid for their commitment to supporting the Drupal ecosystem, calling them a tremendous supporter of both Drupal and the Drupal community. And let's be real, having another option for extended support gives everyone a bit more breathing room to plan their transition. So if you're still on Drupal 7 and not quite ready for the full migration, consider checking out Dropsolid as an option. More details on how to get in touch are, of course, in the show notes. GovCMS Mega Meetup in November. Alright folks, the GovCMS Mega Meetup is coming up fast and happening on Wednesday, November 13 from 9:30am to 4:30pm at the Canberra Southern Cross Club, Woden. Check-in starts at 8:30am and registrations are open. It's shaping up to be an amazing day, especially with the recent GovCMS 3.0 launch. We're talking sessions, discussions, and plenty of time to celebrate with all the awesome projects the community has delivered. Now, here's the cool part. They're looking for presenters. If you've got a great project, now's the time to step up and share it. You can run a session anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. It's a fantastic way to connect with the community and show off what you've been working on. Plus, don't forget the GovCMS Community Awards. This is where we give a shout out to the top contributors who've gone above and beyond on the platform. So if you know a person or project that deserves the spotlight, make sure to nominate them. And hey, if you're still sticking around for more Drupal goodness, DrupalSouth is hosting the Community Day event the very next day, Thursday, November 14 at the same venue. So why not make it a double feature? Trust me, this is the place to be if you're serious about GovCMS. Critical Drupal security alerts, vulnerabilities found in key modules, is your site at risk? First up, the paragraphs table module, which allows field collections to be displayed as tables, has a critical issue. The problem involves access bypass and information disclosure, where certain routes weren't properly restricted. Users with basic permissions could view or even modify content. This vulnerability could expose sensitive data, making it essential to update to the latest version. And next, we've got two moderately critical vulnerabilities in the open social distribution, which is designed for building online communities. The first issue involves a denial of service or DOS attack on the password reset form. An attacker could repeatedly trigger password reset requests, potentially overwhelming the system and causing downtime. The second issue is more severe, cross-site scripting or XSS through the social embed module, allowing an attacker to inject malicious code or take control of the site. These vulnerabilities can be mitigated by uploading to the latest version of OpenSocial. Moving on, the Content Entity Clone module, which lets users clone content entities, also has a moderately critical vulnerability. Users with permission to create content could clone restricted content from other users, potentially accessing private data. If you're using this module, make sure to upgrade to version 1.0.4. The free linking module, which allows for wiki-style links to internal or external content, had an information disclosure vulnerability. It did not properly check user permissions when rendering links, allowing unauthorized users to see URLs that should be restricted. And lastly, the advanced varnish module, which enables caching of pages for logged in users at the varnish level, had an access bypass vulnerability. Attackers could guess cached page names, allowing them to access pages meant for other roles. This also requires an update to ensure secure caching. So the Drupal security team has been hard at work coordinating fixes for all these vulnerabilities, and patches are already available for all of them. Be sure to update each module to the latest version to keep your site secure. DrupalSouth 2025 Volunteer Opportunities. Alright, let's talk DrupalSouth 2025 happening in Melbourne, and they're on the lookout for passionate volunteers to join the event committee. This is a fantastic chance to get involved in organising one of the biggest Drupal events in the region. The Volunteer Event Committee works closely with the Steering Committee, meeting weekly to help with key areas like content submissions, sponsorships, on-site volunteer selections, social activities, and even the Splash Awards. And here's the cherry on top, volunteers get complimentary access to the conference. Free entry as a thank you for all your hard work. Now for some fresh updates straight from the DrupalSouth Steering Committee. Sponsorship for the DrupalSouth Community Day 2024 is looking solid, with many 2023 sponsors keen to come back. As for DrupalSouth Melbourne, plans are still moving forward, with a March date still being considered. If you're ready to get involved, submit your expression of interest by 11:59pm Australian Eastern Standard Time, Friday, September the 6th. And if you're curious about the committee's inner workings, you can even request to observe a meeting by contacting the chair by email. Check the show notes for registration and contact details. The Australia-New Zealand Drupal Slack Channel hits 700 members, a growing hub for collaboration and innovation. Let's celebrate, folks. The Australian-NZ Drupal Slack Channel just hit a major milestone. 700 members. If you're into web development or keeping up with digital trends, you're gonna love this. So here's the deal. The Australia-NZ Drupal Slack Channel now has 700 members, making it the largest region-focused channel on the entire Drupal Slack server. That's right. For comparison, the Drupal France channel comes in second with 447 members. We've come a long way since our humble beginnings. Let me break it down for you. The Slack channel has been gaining momentum since 2019 after DrupalSouth Hobart. The community held an informal membership drive, bumping us up to around 200 members. Fast forward to today and boom, we've hit 700. That's a huge leap and a testament to just how active, passionate and engaged the Drupal community is down under. Whether you're debugging code, sharing tips or brainstorming new ideas, it's all happening here. It's proof that when people come together, whether it's for code, creativity, or just to share knowledge, amazing things happen. For those of you that haven't joined yet, what are you waiting for? Check out the description or hit up the show notes to dive into the conversation. This is where the future of Drupal in Australia and New Zealand is being shaped, one message at a time. If you haven't caught the last week's video yet, make sure you check it out, and it's packed with more updates. And as always, all the links and info are in the show notes, so stay connected with the community, keep your site secure, and we'll see you next time with more news and more updates.